Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're brand new, make sure you subscribe before you leave today. And I'm going to show you how I make my pizza at home from scratch. We're going to make everything from scratch, including the sauce. I'm originally from New York, so I better know how to make a pizza. Usually I make one at least once a week, sometimes twice. And this particular recipe is going to give you the thinnest, paper thin crust in the easiest way possible. So that means you don't need a pizza stone. You don't need double O flour. Forget about all those things. We're going to use stuff that you already have in stock in your house. So let's get this pizza party started. Step number 1, in a bowl of warm water or measuring cup, add in warm water, 1 teaspoon of yeast, and 1 teaspoon of honey. For the full measurements, you can screenshot the description below and cook right along. The honey serves as our sugar, of course. And then just mix really well so it's combined. Then leave it alone for 5 to 7 minutes, and the yeast should start to get really foamy, bubbly on top, and creamy. If it doesn't, it's not good yeast, it's old, you want to toss it, but it should look similar to that. And then in a big bowl, take your flour and 1 teaspoon of salt and mix really well. Then add your yeast and honey mixture to the flour and stir until fully combined, and it forms a ball of pizza dough. If you notice I didn't break out a big standing mixer or anything like that, I think it's easier just to grab a wooden spoon and a big bowl and just mix this way, and it's less to clean. Once it sit there and clean 10 million things. At the end, your dough should be elastic and slightly sticky, but really soft and airy. You can go ahead and add a pinch of flour if you think that the dough is too sticky. It's not going to hurt anything. Go ahead, just add a little more flour and then just knead it with your hands. And once the dough has formed into a ball, taking a big bowl, doing a swizzle of olive oil. You can see that nice smooth dough. Place that in your bowl, and then you can pop a towel on top. Just make sure it's like a lint-free towel that's not going to shed. I just use a paper towel. So I'm going to do olive oil and then put a paper towel right on top. And the most important step is the cold fermentation process. I always cold ferment my pizza dough. So this recipe is really simple, but this is the one step I would not skip. So picture it's, I don't know, 7 o'clock in the morning, you're making a cup of coffee, make the dough super early in the morning, pop it in the fridge all day, then you can take it out at night after it's been fermenting. So placing it in a cold environment after it's mixed really slows down the activity of the yeast, and at the cool fridge temperature the yeast is going to behave differently, producing more of a desirable flavor compound and fewer of the sour compounds. So it also produces carbon dioxide more slowly versus leaving it out at room temperature, which in that case it's going to ferment really quick. So you're going to get a different flavor, different texture. I just strongly believe in cold fermenting my pizza dough, just making it early in the morning. If you guys don't have time to do that, you can totally leave it out and it's going to ferment quicker, but if you have the time, cold ferment your pizza dough and you'll notice the difference. Fast forward to 11 hours later, and we have this beautiful pizza dough that has little air pocket bubbles that indicate it's going to be really crispy and thin. It fermented perfectly. I did it for 11 hours. You could do it for 3 days if you want to. It varies. Play around with it a little bit. The good thing is that you're going to have 4 little pizzas out of this, or you could do 2 big pies. You're going to have leftover dough. So I sliced it in half, added the other half to a Ziploc bag. I'll let it ferment for another probably 2 days or so, and then it's kind of cool because it's like a little experiment. You can see the difference in taste, the difference in texture, and decide based on that how long you like to ferment your pizza dough. So I'm just going to cut that in half here, and we're going to get ready to roll it out. Place your pizza to the side and we're going to make the sauce. So I have 3 cloves of garlic that I'm just crushing with the back of a knife. I don't chop it really small because I hate those little itty bits of garlic. It becomes too overpowering. I'd rather have some big chunks in there. And then 1 can of cherry tomatoes. You can also use San Marzano. Just use a really good quality tomato. A little pinch of salt. Very little pinch. A few swirls of good quality extra virgin olive oil. I'll put the one that I'm using down below in the description box, but use the good stuff. And then basil, fresh basil. You don't have to chiffonade it, don't chop it, just put the whole leaves in and crush by hand. That way all the ingredients come together and it gets fragrant. It's going to cook in the oven. There's no need to cook it in advance. It's going to get really sweet in the oven. Your oven should be preheated to its highest setting. I'm using 500-degree oven. And there's your sauce. Press out your pizza dough and just press it gently until it gets really, really thin. It takes a little patience and a little bit of time, but just stretch the dough until a thin layer covers the pan. You can get the pan on my Amazon link below. It's really basic, just pizza pan, nothing fancy. You can also use a faux pizza stone by flipping over your baking sheet. If you have a square baking sheet, you could do that as well and preheat it in the oven, but it comes out fine this way if you guys do it this way too. And the bottom of the pan, I don't add olive oil, I don't add semolina, nothing. Just put the pizza on top and add your sauce. I go a little crazy with the sauce. It is really good. I like it. And surprisingly, the dough holds up to it pretty well. And then I'm adding in mozzarella cheese. The cheese is really, really important. Equally as important as the cold fermentation and the cold pressed sauce is the cheese. Do not use the prepackaged caking agent, chemically infused cheese. You want to use a fresh mozzarella cheese that's been freshly grated so it's really soft. Not the whole milk ones that like come in the water, but a freshly grated one from the deli at your store, or you could do it yourself. And then I'm adding in lots and lots and lots of pepperoni. So good. They're going to get so crispy in that 500-degree oven. Crispy, salty pepperoni right on top. That's really one of the best things about pizza. There's only a few ingredients, but when they all come together, it's like to die for, which I guess it literally could be if you eat this every day. So there's all the pepperoni. I loaded it up. Then I went back and decided that I needed a little bit more. So we're going to put some more on the sides. Lots and lots of pepperoni is always a good thing. Pop that in your 500-degree oven for about 15 minutes so it gets brown and golden, almost like charred. If you want a little darker, that's fine, but I just like the pepperoni to get really crispy and the outside edges to get golden. If you want to do something special, you can even rub like a garlic butter on the crust if you want to do that. But the only other topping this really needs, because it's pepperoni pizza, of course, is some maybe chili flakes, a little bit of chili oil. Tempted to put basil on it because in the summer I just want to put basil on everything. So pizza's done after 15 minutes in the oven. Just make sure you watch it. I'm going to slide that off of our pizza baking sheet. Trying to show you guys how thin it is. Slice it up. So I'm just going to go over the half and cut it into little quarters. You can see how paper thin the pizza came out. Look at that. So many toppings. You don't have to go as crazy with the sauce as I did, but I like more sauce, so I kind of went overboard. But you can see the back and the sides, really, really thin pizza. This is my favorite pizza recipe of all time. I've made pizza so many different ways, so many different times. There's a lot of ways you can do it, but I think this is the easiest. So make sure you guys are cold fermenting your dough, cold pressing your sauce. Try this version out. Let me know what you think. The full recipe is right down in the description box below. I'm going to go eat this pizza. Hope you guys have a delicious day. See you next time.